Hello. Welcome to another episode of Restaurant Punk.
Hello.
My name's Nikos. My name's Nikos. This is Liz. And
what's up, Nikos? What's up, Liz?
Oh, boy.
I see you two are sitting over there.
There
I'm
it
sitting
goes.
over here. Is it 2 versus 1 today? Where the are we? What is this place?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Liz, where are we? Tell our audience where we are. Because they're so used to us in our studio. Now, what the is going on here? New York, graffiti. There's some kind of fancy shit behind you. Where the are we?
Well, it's 3 a.m. We just broke into someone's house. But we can't disclose the address, so sorry.
Does it happen to be the house that I've lived in for the past 20 years? Just saying.
Possibly.
Possibly in the home.
Which I just found out after all those years you have a fireplace.
We didn't light the fireplace. We did not light the fireplace, and it doesn't light with a fucking switch. All right, okay. You actually got to man the up and light that fucking fire, just like your restaurant. Oh, actually, no, we don't, because you got to turn the thermostat and it turns on. All right, what do we got? What do we got?
How many of those have you had so far?
This is my second.
This past 10 minutes.
I haven't showered. I'm straight up punk on this episode. I got my apron, I got my YB shirt, and I smell like grease. You know, I think there's a cigarette in my ear. Yes, there is. Because I don't smoke those metal dildos with a strawberry scent. I'm a fucking restaurant punk, goddammit. What do you got? What do we got?
Why don't you share with us how you're feeling right now?
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Clearly, you got some pent up energy. Shit.
I'm feeling greasy. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like for the previous Restaurant Punk episodes, I have showered and looked in the mirror. But this is what I actually look like normally, right? I got my wife. If you guys could smell me right now,
I could smell you from here.
You can smell me, right?
I sure can.
It's that grease, like.
Well, you were just cooking for everybody.
Yeah, it smells like a pita.
It smells like a pita. I was on my hands and knees with a steam cleaner, just cleaning.
Is that what these kids call it nowadays?
That's what they call it, yeah.
Well, steam
We
cleaner,
write down
man.
that slang.
Liz, what do you got? Come on. You always got something good. Your topics are pretty good.
All right, so the topic I brought up the other day that my coworker brought up.
Uh-huh.
She was working in a restaurant in a sports bar, and the customer said she wanted chili, but she didn't like beans, and she wanted to know if she could strain them out.
Out of the chili.
So how do you handle customers that ask you the most absurd questions? You don't want to insult them, but it's kind of like, come on, woman. Clearly you don't cook.
Like, do you make them feel like an idiot?
I try not to.
Such an idiot question to ask. Remove the beans from the chili, please, because I don't like the beans. I mean, that doesn't.
I had a guy ask for, and I worked at this restaurant. Obviously, I knew the answer, and he was saying he wanted the soup. He didn't want the, and I said this. Explained to him there's crab sprinkled around the side. He's like, well, I don't want the crab. He said, can you have them remove the crab? I go, you do realize like the base has crab in it? And he didn't understand it, and I explained it to him 15 different ways. And even though I obviously knew the answer, I promised him I would ask the chef anyway. No, so I walked in the kitchen, got screamed at like I was an idiot.
I would scream at you. I would scream at you.
I know the answer, but I told the guy I was going to do it. So I did it, but he did not understand like that it's made with it. Like that's how it's made. Like I just feel like that's common sense. I don't know how you
would you put that along the same lines as a substitution?
No,
I think it's worse because you're saying
remove,
yeah, deconstruct something that's already enmeshed, like it's already together. It's already one unit at that point.
So I would go into the topic of how do we feel about that same guest that asked you that question? You would come back and ask me, and I would tell you to off.
Right, that's pretty
right because I'm busy.
Yeah.
So the best restaurant, I would come outside, go to this table. It was a guy or a girl?
It was a woman for the chili. Wait, we're talking about the crab?
Yes, the chili. Let's go back to the chili.
It was a woman.
Let's call her Francine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I would just come outside. Francine? Yes, chef. Yeah, you don't have to call me chef. Just call me Yianni. Mm-hmm. And I would just take her by the hand. I would say, come with me. And I would take her back into the kitchen and I would show her what the is going on. And I would say, what was your question again? And she'll be like, oh, never mind. Never mind. Because they're comfortable talking to the front of the house. And this is why at Cara Restaurant Group, we love open kitchens. Because I would stare the out of Francine at table 18 when you came back, and then you looked at me and I would say, what table is that? And have you ever noticed that sometimes tables look into the kitchen because they see the server going back to ask their stupid request? Right. So as you're asking me, what was the chili question?
Can you strain the chili, the beans out of the chili?
Right. So Francine's watching you come to the kitchen, and her husband Frank is like, Francine, she's going back there. And then you're coming to me, the mean guy, right? And then you're making out the words. And then as you're talking to me, I go like this. And I make eye contact with Francine. And Nico touched on this before, the difference between owners and managers.
Yeah.
The manager would just say, whatever you want, Francine.
Absolutely.
I am here for you. I am the manager. I will give you free food tonight, tomorrow, and the next 10 times you come in. As opposed to an owner, we would go out and greet Francine. And that's why I said I would love to take Francine by the hand and say, Frank, excuse me, I'm going to take your wife in the walk-in. I mean kitchen. So, and I would take her back there and say, Francine, you're chilly. It's never going to happen. All right. So either off and never come back. I never. But you know what? I think Francine would appreciate that and like it.
She would appreciate
but you can't talk.
It too, yeah.
You can't, front of the house people can't talk like that. Never.
Unless you're an owner in the front of the house.
I try to pretend.
Unless you're an owner. I'm so sorry. Unless you're an owner in the front of the house.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I try to act like they asked a non-stupid question and they're valid question. I try not to make them sound stupid, but it's kind of like, come on, man. But speaking of open kitchens, and I thought this was interesting. So I've never owned a restaurant, but the whole idea of having the open window, I'd always be afraid that someone behind the line does something that they shouldn't do. That the kitchen.
Liz, I'm glad you segued into a topic that I wanted to talk about because Nikos and I, less than, what time is it? 2, 3? Less than 12 hours ago, had a meeting for a new restaurant, which will be a George's Place West. And the only problem with this restaurant is that the kitchen and the front of the house is separated by a wall. Nikos and I spoke and agreed that, you know what? We're going to take that fucking wall down. Here's what the previous owner said. You don't want to do that because you know what? Your air conditioning bill and heating bill is going to go through the roof. And I agree. But
that's not going to stop you.
No fucking way. And we talk about bean counters. And I'm like, if your electric bill is $800 a month, and then you open up the kitchen, a nice, beautiful, wide open kitchen, and a guest walks in and sees the kitchen and sees the front of the house and sees movement, I don't think you can put a price tag on that. I think it's impossible.
You can't. And it makes the restaurant look bigger from the inside too. It opens.
It's just more action, baby. It's more action.
It is more action, but I just feel like there's certain people that go out and like to nitpick and try to see something that's wrong with that, like grease somewhere.
Well, we're not the guests aren't interacting with the kitchen, but at least they can see what the is going on. And if we're being honest with each other, the main reason that I do it is for atmosphere. The second reason I do it is to make sure the kitchen keeps, best case scenario, at least the surface area clean. In other words, that means polishing the stainless steel.
Yeah.
One of our guys on a nightly basis would polish the stainless steel without me asking, because you know what? The guest walks in and can see the whole kitchen.
Yeah.
And Nikos, what happened when Guy, what's his name?
Guy Fieri.
Yeah, that guy came to do our show for George's Place. What did he say to his producer? He called his producer, his director, and the camera people into our kitchen at George's Place, 2010, at the height of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. He brought the whole crew into our kitchen and said, this is what the it's supposed to look like. Do you understand? Guy Fieri told his whole crew, I'm tired of walking in these kitchens. Nikos, myself, Peter, and the gang spent a week with toothbrushes cleaning that kitchen, because you know what? It's going to be the cleanest kitchen on TV, no matter what, every single detail. And it's an open kitchen. But you know what? The real dirt is underneath.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, just to kind of go back to your question about, you think that not question, but your statement about the kitchen doing something they're not supposed to be doing. Well, because it's an open kitchen, they're not going to do that crazy stuff that they would normally do in a closed kitchen. So they're going to be dressed appropriately. They're going to not wear any craziness and, because they're being watched by everybody. So
Yeah, that's true. More
it
pressure.
also keeps them in line, to be
Keeps them in
honest with
check,
you.
yeah.
It keeps them in, it keeps them in line.
Behaviorally speaking.
Yeah.
So going back to our original topic with Francine and her chili, I would love to go to the table and speak on your behalf. Would that affect your tip if I pissed her off, which I've done in the past?
I mean, you can and you can't.
I
I've had
mean-
people just leave. Say, well, I can't be, I'm appalled. I've never, and they just get up and walk out.
Well, Nico, in our 20-year careers, it has happened many times.
And then they're blacklisted.
And you know what they do? They go and they tell all their friends, we were so rude to her. And you know what? The friends actually wind up coming and visiting. Because like Francine's crazy. But she didn't get bad service. She's high maintenance.
Right.
Let's be honest. She's high maintenance.
Have you ever had a high maintenance customer that you said, please don't come back?
I've had a high maintenance guest, more than one, that I've said, please, the bill is on me. Thank you for coming. Have a great life and don't ever come back into this restaurant.
I could vouch for that numerous times.
Can we go back to your original question? Because I went on about 18 different rants.
Yeah.
What was your original question?
Just how do you handle customers like that? Well, we know how you handle it.
That is exactly
Take
how
them
I
on a
handle
field
it.
trip, do a little Mr. Rogers neighborhood in the kitchen.
Nico will attest to, I've been honest. I've shared a lot of my true feelings with guests, right or wrong. And I feel like after 20 years, some people actually appreciate it
Yeah.
because I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not blowing smoke up their ass.
No.
I'm just being myself. And you'd be surprised how many people that we've hated or have made complaints that we're best friends with now
They respect
in the restaurants.
And they're not used to it either.
They're not used to it.
Blunt honest. You know, they see that on TV. They see it behind the closed doors, like in closed kitchens.
Yeah.
But they don't see it coming out to them, especially for something like taking beans out of chili. So they kind of appreciate it for the aspect of it. And, you know, it turns them around a little bit. And then they understand, oh, we didn't know that, you know, blah, 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 blah. I won't do that stupid mistake again in the future.
Right.
And that's great when a customer is more receptive to your explanation and they're reasonable. It's when they're not reasonable. It's like, come on, as a guest, please just be reasonable. If someone gives you an explanation, whether it's, you know, very detailed or not, just take their word for it. Don't challenge them. Like, it doesn't always have to be a fight.
Actually, last week at Shimon, right? This customer goes, may I speak with the chef? And I'm like, I just happened to be there. I wasn't the chef. I just happened to be there. And I said, oh, I'll go talk to him. So I went out. It was table 4, the one by the window. So I went out. I said, hey, I am Chef Yianni, which I never can say. And I was just joking with him. I said, how can I help you? And she said, can I substitute my lamb shank for a tang sandwich? Yeah, that just happened. Restaurant Punk, Yianni, Nikos, Badass Liz,
That's right.
Super Motherfucking Califragilistic Carapanajotis.
Bye.
So, yeah.